arguing with people and making stuff. Like Wesley Willis, actually, he was a really, really good artist. So it came out like that. But his mother got him into piano lessons, and that's when he started playing the organ, which is most of Daniel Johnston's songs that you'll know from the early years will be done on organ until he picked up guitar later on. But he moved out of the family home when he just kept fighting with the man, moved in with his sister. Sister came home one day and he was gone. Couldn't find him anywhere. And he had bought a moped and ran away with the carnival. Yep. Ran away with the carnival.
I used to tell me ma was going to do that.
Well, he actually did it.
I didn't know how weird the carnival was, though, to go there.
So the carnival ended up in Austin, Texas, anyway. And he had his little tape recorder where he was still writing the songs and stuff like that. He used to write songs at home as well, so he was still doing that. People started asking for his tapes, going, shit, this is fucking... I don't know what it is about this music. I really, really like it. And he was begging bands to put him on as support acts. And they were just going, yeah, okay, man.
Jump on,
away.
whatever.
And there was people actually really, really responding to this music. People would come up to him and go, can I get a copy of that album? And at the time, he didn't have a way of duplicating it. So he just recorded the whole album again. Every time. And drew the artwork again.
Yeah.
And handed it like a brand new, unique recording of it. So it could have been like a bit croakier than like the last one he gave out to someone. That's fucking mental. Then he found means of duplicating them, obviously, like that. Record labels would be trying to get in contact with him because he started to get like really well known around Austin. But they'd have nowhere to call, so they'd have to call him in his job. He worked in McDonald's for years. But his McDonald's was where he actually started to form manic depressive behaviour, which I probably would as well.
Yeah, probably.
To be perfectly honest with you. So I don't think anything happened regarding record labels until MTV came to Austin, Texas, and he kind of jumped in this barbecue they were hosting. Went, I'm Daniel Johnston, here's my tape. And that's the tape he had was the album Hi, How Are You, which is that famous Kurt Cobain t-shirt with the little frog on the front of it. That's the album cover of that. So the timelines are all over the place a little bit here with this, because I find it very hard to...
It's hard to lock them down sometimes. Yeah. You're reading stories and you're doing research and they're all...
And they're going back over certain parts. And as well as that, people move around a lot.
Yeah.
So he's in Texas, he's in California. He had a manager called Randy Kemper for a while. But Randy Kemper left when Daniel Johnston put him in hospital for beating him over the head with a lead pipe because he thought he had the devil in him. That's fucking crazy when you get... if someone with schizophrenia thinks that you are the devil, you need to get the fuck away.
Yeah.
Because they are thinking they are going to help the world by killing you.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They're doing well.
That's terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no reasoning with it. Because they just think, this is the devil trying to talk to me. Trying to get me to stop killing them. That's fucking nuts. He spent a whole year in bed with depression on heavy-duty antipsychotic
Whole
stuff.
year?
Yeah, a whole year in his parents' house on something called Haldol, which just basically makes you a dribbling mess.
Fucking hell. Which
He
they probably think is helping him.
Yeah, he spent time in a homeless shelter and he was arrested for drawing Christian fish on symbols on the bottom of the base of the Statue of Liberty, like hundreds of them. So the cops, there's tapes of recording of the cops going, "What were you doing?"
Jeez.
He goes, "I don't know." So we had to pay some.
Just was.
We had to pay a few grand, I think, to get out of that one.
Fucking hell.
He got off the bus one time and in Austin, Texas, and he started just shouting at random people, saying that they had the devil in them. And some woman opened her window and went, "Will you shut the fuck up?" So we just ran up at her into her gaff. Yeah. And she got so afraid that she jumped out the window and broke two of her legs.
Oh.
That's when they went, right, he's an absolute danger,
to
people now.
So,
so we ended up in hospital.
That's where it starts getting serious.
Yeah, exactly. He was still adamant that she had the devil in her and he was trying to get it out, but the devil took over first and pushed her out in front of him.
Really?
Yeah, okay. This is around the time he had a manager called Jeff Tardikoff, who was genuinely a fucking nice guy. Roz, he was, every time, no matter whether Daniel was in bed for a year or in hospital, this guy was still pimping his stuff out to all the record labels and doing loads of work and getting them in contact, sending his tapes to Sonic Youth and stuff like that. That's why he has such a huge kind of following, Daniel Johnston, in the grunge community. Because he was put in contact with all them. So the manager was really, really doing his best. And that come into it again later for an absolutely mental story. It's about to come up. I shouldn't be using terms like mental in this one, but fuck it.
It's okay. I forgive you.
He started ringing the manager every day going, I have ideas I want to do. I want to get the Beatles back together and I want to have them as my backing band. Like, mate. He wanted to become the spokesperson for Mountain Dew.
What?
He wanted it so badly.
He just really liked Mountain Dew.
Yeah. He was playing a gig and his father flew him to the gig. His father flew biplanes, 2-seater planes, whatever like that. And the gig went really well, but on the way home, Daniel Johnston was in the back reading a comic Casper the Friendly Ghost, which was one of his favourite ones.
Okay.
And on the cover, Casper was flying down on a parachute. So he went, I want to do that now, immediately. You shouldn't be laughing at this. It's terrible. He's in the... You should be afraid, because you're afraid of planes.
All right, I'm not into this.
So he goes to his dad, here, Dad, I want to be Casper, and he turns the engine off in mid-flight.
Oh my fucking God.
Pulls the keys out, throws them out the window.
Fucked right off.
Grabs the wheel and starts pushing it down towards the ground. And his dad was like, we're going to die. And he goes, we can't die. And he goes, we absolutely can. So he said that Daniel Johnston was so fucking strong. So ridiculously fucking strong. But he managed to get it off him. And because his dad was trained how to crash land, he crash landed in a load of trees, and miraculously both of them survived. Yeah. He said that the dad, like, was what the interview, or the documentary's very tough when his dad's talking about this, his dad instantly just breaks down. Yeah. And you see an old man crying.
Yeah.
And that shit gets me every time. It really does, yeah. So, he has a song called Casper the Friendly Ghost, actually, as does Wesley Willis, so there's something in there with Casper. Yeah. Except Wesley Willis' one is called Casper the Friendly Homosexual Ghost.
Okay.
Whereas Daniel Johnston's version is just called Casper the Friendly Ghost. It's actually a good little song. So, all this time, the manager, Jeff Tartikoff, is trying to push for a record deal. It turns into a bidding war. Okay. And Elektra Records ring him and go, right, we want to sign him. So he goes back and goes, I did it. All this work I've been doing for you for years ago. He goes, Elektra. So Daniel Johnston has a little bit of a look at Elektra and goes, no, that band Metallica will kill me. They're Satanists and they'll kill me. And the manager was like, Daniel, this is the biggest you're ever going to get offered. Yeah. This is amazing. Yeah. They want to put your music out, go worldwide. Yeah. Because now Metallica will kill me, so I don't want anything to do.
Fuck.
So after years of cocktails, of really bad cocktails of drugs, they finally found a drug called Topamax that clicked with him and just absolutely settled him down. And he began to just play live shows and put out other albums. Some of the albums weren't as big as his other ones, but I wonder, in a lot of these cases, if you take some of the madness out of the music, does it become a little bit more, like if you're more sedated and chilled out, it's not the same. Maybe you need some of that initial madness. Yeah. I don't know. But he retired in 2017 from playing live. Yeah. It was too much for him. And then he died of a suspected heart attack last year. Oof. He was massively, massively influential to a lot of people. And his music is, listen to the songs, there's a real innocence to them. Yeah. Without being patronising. Because they are good. Musically, they are good. And if you want to know any more about that, it's a really, really good documentary, that Devil and Daniel Johnston. That was directed by Todd Phillips. Okay. Who did The Joker. Really? Yep. That's crazy. Devil and Daniel Johnston is a really good documentary. I think it's from 2003. I could be wrong about that. Jesus, I don't know. Check it out anyway. Who's your next one?
My next one is Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys.
God, yeah.
Had to be done.
Definite trouble there.
The song is Love and Mercy. I'm actually going to write down Love and Mercy because I never fucking wrote it down.
I sometimes forget what song I picked. Yeah, we're not talking about the songs themselves.
Yeah, exactly. This is actually a nice little song. It's if you go onto his own Spotify, I think this might be his top song above some Beach Boys stuff, which is weird. Good for him. So, the Beach Boys obviously have a long and storied past, but let's just talk about Wilson himself. In 66, Beach Boys are getting ready to record Smile, and he decides, this is how I'm going to get ready for this recording session. So he gets a suitcase and he just lamps a load of like LSD, fucking amphetamines, hash, weed, whatever the fuck he can get his hands on. Fucks it all into this suitcase and off he goes to the recording studio. Within a couple of days, he is telling the orchestra that they've hired to play the album, he says, listen, it doesn't sound right. And they keep going through different things until he decides that if the orchestra wear tiny little toy fireman hats, they'll sound better. So he makes the orchestra wear
man.
fireman hats, and then all of a sudden it's like, that's amazing, much better. That's perfect.
I wonder who did it though.
I don't know.
I wonder they looked around each other and they felt so stupid that they were less guarded when they played their music, and it was a bit more, you know.
Well, he was definitely a perfectionist, so he heard something in that performance with them wearing
Maybe their
fireman
performance
hats.
was a little bit more naked when they felt a bit put out. Maybe it worked.
Maybe.
He fucking wrote Pet Sounds.
Exactly. So while he's at home, he has a sand pit installed in his living room as well, so he can sit and build sandcastles and play in the sand. During the downtime from the
He really was a
recording.
Beach Boy.
He really, really fucking was. It was around this time that he starts hearing voices.
Man, yeah.
And everybody starts getting worried about him, and he gets committed to an institution for what they think might be suicidal behaviour. He just starts acting up. And they're like, okay, Brian needs to go away here now for a while.
Yeah.
When he is finally discharged, when he's discharged from the hospital, he goes home and he locks himself in his house, and he just lives basically on antipsychotic drugs and steaks. That's all he does. He smokes cigarettes, takes antipsychotic pills, and eats steaks every single day.
Worse lives, man.
Yeah.
That's worse.
But the reason he does it is because he's absolutely 100% convinced that Phil Spector was out to get him. He wouldn't leave the house in case Phil Spector was outside. Probably a real thing.
Man.
Probably a real thing.
He was more mental.
Yeah. Phil Spector is coming up now in a few minutes.
Is he good?
And it's fucking wonderful. Fucking Phil Spector, Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm not against him on that one. I believe him.
There was a couple of occasions, apparently, this is a fucking brilliant one, a couple of occasions backstage at gigs where he'd see kids backstage and he'd go over and introduce himself. He's like, oh yeah, I'm Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. And they turn around and say, yeah, we know that. Like, that's how far out he was.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like, he didn't know his children. He was that in the soup.
And do you reckon that was triggered by the LSD?
I think he might have suffered his entire life, but obviously
dad
the
was
drugs
a
did.
bollocks.
Yeah. The whole group are kind of fucked, to be honest with you.
I think we've seen a common theme here of childhood trauma and LSD.
Big time.
Are popping up a lot.
Big fucking time. It just has something big has to happen to you in your formative years, and that trigger is there for the rest of your fucking life, you know. So Wilson still kind of. Up until recently, whenever he played gigs, I know a couple of people who play in his band, in his touring band, and all he does is eat ice cream. That's literally it. He plays a gig and goes back to the hotel and just eats ice cream all night until he gets up and has to travel again. So he's still he's still kind of locked in a little bit.
Also, I wouldn't mind eating ice cream when I'm on tour because some of the shit that I'd say you'd get.
Wilson just. We could do an entire podcast on Brian Wilson. He's obviously a fucking genius.
Yes,
like, without a shadow of a doubt.
That's what I'm saying. Is we've mentioned this before. We do benefit from other people's.
We absolutely do.
But we won't call it madness. It's just
whatever they have.
Whatever makes them different to the rest of the people, and not think of things the same way we think of them.
However, we get to appreciate it kind of externally. We don't have to deal with the person themselves and the fucking the absolute horror that they're going to put people through as well. Like, you know, like imagine not knowing who your children are.
That's crazy. It must be very hurtful. Yeah, they get it. I'm sure they get it, but
I'm sure they understand that that's not 100% or whatever the fuck it is. But Brian Wilson. The song is "Love and Mercy." I think it's off his second solo album, I think. It's a grand little song.
That movie about him was very good.
I don't think I've seen that film.
Oh, Jesus.
The whole history of the Beach Boys and the connection to the fucking Manson and like there's Jesus fucking Christ, like it's outrageous. There's that band, everybody in that band, original members, has lived 1,000 fucking lives, you know. Yeah. As well as being one of the most important bands of all time. The fact that they started off kind of robbing other people's songs and then got a pain in their bollocks and start writing songs themselves that were 1,000,000 times better than the ones they were robbing.
Yeah.
Like, being forced into being geniuses, you know, essentially.
Yeah, they were.
But that's Brian Wilson, and that's just a couple of the little fucking mad things that poor bastard got involved in. He obviously brought out Smile, Brian Wilson's Smile. What was it? Fuck, it must have been 20 years ago. It was just his kind of big return
That's right. That did very well,
very
actually.
well. They toured the shit out of that, and the album sold an awful lot. It's actually a good album.
I think touring, I can't imagine